Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to attach a quick video for one of the assignments that you have this week. I'm using some of the student workbook pages to help you with this. So if you can flip to page 579 of your student workbook, we can go ahead and get started. Again, it is okay to pause this video to go back and re-listen to what I've said, and to go back even after you've already listened to it completely and listen to it again as you're working through your assignment. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and move ahead, but you are always welcome to pause the video, gather your materials. So page 579 of your student book. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to review classifying quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals, we learned, are four-sided polygons. Okay, and we're going to look first at a Venn diagram and review how we can use a Venn diagram to categorize or put into groups different four-sided shapes or quadrilaterals. Okay, so if you notice, this is a Venn diagram, and if you notice, there's four ovals. On the very outside oval, you will find quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are just four-sided figures. Now, if you go down below here, okay, under category quadrilaterals, the attributes of a quadrilateral are they just have four sides. Okay? All right, so now we want to find a figure that has not only four sides, but also two pairs of parallel sides. So they have to have both those attributes. Okay, and that specific figure is called a parallelogram. Please make sure you write this in the space provided and just follow along as we go along. Okay? All right, let me get this centered. There we go. So a four-sided figure with two pairs of parallel sides is a parallelogram. And you'll notice this is one of the subcategories of a quadrilateral. Okay, so we notice again four sides and two pairs of parallel sides. Well, what do these two things have in common? Well, they have, let me get it here. They both have four sides. Okay, and the difference is they have that a parallelogram also has two pairs of parallel sides where a quadrilateral does not. Okay, we're ready to move on. All right, so let's move on to the next figure. So we're going to look at the second subcategory. So we're looking right here. Now we are looking for a figure that has four sides, which is a quadrilateral. It has two pairs of parallel sides, which make it also a parallelogram. But it also has four right angles. So the first thing you probably pops into your brain is a square. Well, you would be right. However, if you notice right here, the next subcategory has to have four sides of equal length. So if we look at our options, we've already used parallelograms. Only options are rectangles and squares. So you probably already figured this out, but right here, we're going to I'm going to type in the word rectangles. Please write that in the space provided. Again, why are we writing all this down? We're writing this down so that way you can have something to come back to. Then the last subcategory is going to be a square. So let me type in a text box right here. So pretty much, what is this showing? So if you see the table, so I'll give you a minute to fill out the table. Again, it's okay to pause. I'm going to kind of keep going, but you can pause right here and you can fill in the two subcategories, both right here and here. Make sure to fill those out. Okay, so you notice a quadrilateral has 1, 2, 3 subcategories. It has a parallelogram, which was subcategory 1. Okay. Subcategory 2, or letter C, was a rectangle, and subcategory 3, or letter D, was a square. Now, I learned how to write all these into a Venn diagram. What are we doing? Well, if you remember what we talked about yesterday, because all of these ovals are within the oval of a quadrilateral, it means that they share all the characteristics of a quadrilateral. And if you notice in our table, what's repeated every time? Well, the attribute that's repeated in every single characteristic or every single quadrilateral is that it has four sides. So that is why these are all subcategories of a quadrilateral. They all have four sides. Now, if you notice, a rectangle and a square, they share a common thread with a parallelogram, which is the parallel sides. Two pairs of parallel sides. So a square and a rectangle share all the same attributes as a parallelogram. And then lastly, a square shares all the attributes of a rectangle. It has four right angles. It has two pairs of parallel sides and four sides. So a square thus can be a rectangle, a parallelogram, and a quadrilateral, which kind of blows my mind. So I'm going to pause right here and let you kind of catch up on what we've done, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next page, 580. See you in a moment. All right, now that you have learned how to use a Venn diagram to show all the subcategories of a quadrilateral, we're going to do the same thing with a tree diagram. This is where we're going to compare how a tree diagram and a Venn diagram can show the same thing. Okay? All right, so this right here, my friends, is a tree diagram. Okay? Is a hierarchy diagram that connects categories and subcategories to show how they are related. Pretty much they do a ranking system, right? Here's the original one. Here's subcategory 2, subcategory 3, subcategory 4. Okay, so if we remember, and we can go back to page 579. Now we're on page 580, so hope you're with us. If you need to back up, that's okay. But if I go back to 579, I can already see kind of the ranking of these quadrilaterals, or the categories and subcategories of these quadrilaterals right up here in this Venn diagram. So this is how they show the same thing. So I see that a parallelogram comes right after a quadrilateral. It is the first subcategory. Okay, so if I enter in and I'd like you to write these in as well. Go ahead and shrink this down and move this over. So the first subcategory is going to be a parallelogram. Make sure to write that down, please. Our second category, and again, it's okay to go back and say, okay, it goes parallelogram, rectangle, square. Okay, so let's type in rectangle, center that, go and jot that in, and then we have a square. So if you show, it kind of shows kind of that ranking, right? Like first comes a quadrilateral, then a parallelogram, then a rectangle, then a square. So really it shows the exact same thing as what we saw here. First came quadrilaterals. Let me get this out of here. Then came parallelogram, then came rectangles, and then a square. So if you see that it shows actually the exact same thing. So how are Venn diagrams and tree diagrams alike? How are they different? Well, they are alike because they show the same categories. They show the same, I'm going to say order of the subcategories. Now remember, those subcategories are first parallelogram, second rectangle, third square. Okay, let's go back here. They are different in that they show one using a Venn diagram, the tree diagram shows the information vertically or up and down. Okay, I'll give you a second to jot that down. I'll go ahead and make it work here. Okay, again, it's okay to pause the video and write this down. While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and move on, and you just push play whenever you're ready. So if you see I've crossed out number 5, we're not going to be doing number 5. Let's skip ahead to 581. Okay, so it says study how the example shows relationships among categories of two-dimensional figures, then solve problems 1 through 5. So this is the other part you're going to have to do on the assignment that you have. Okay, and it says give an example of how the Venn diagram shows that one category of figures is a subcategory of another one. Okay, so I noticed that they're saying that all rhombuses have all the same characteristics of a parallelogram, and all squares share all the same characteristics of both a rhombus and a parallelogram. So right here, number 1, let's go down here. Complete each sentence using all or some to make each statement true. So squares have blank attributes of rhombuses. Because that square is completely within the rhombus Venn diagram or oval, we know that it is going to share all of the attributes of a rhombus. Get that right there. Okay. All right. Rhombuses have blank attributes of parallelograms. Well, rhombuses are well within the parallelogram, so they too have all the attributes of parallelograms. And parallelograms have all or some of the attributes of rhombuses. Well, parallelograms and rhombuses are connected in the fact that they are 4 sides and that they have 2 pairs of parallel sides. So they share, but they don't share that they have all 4 sides the same length. So this would be some. Okay? All right. So name 2 attributes that squares and rhombuses always share. Name an attribute they only sometimes share. So if you think about that, they always share 4 sides and well, I think we need to be more specific here, 4 equal sides and 2 pairs of parallel sides. Let me make this box bigger and go ahead and jot this down. Not sure what they want, an attribute they only sometimes share. I don't know. I guess because all squares are rhombuses. I'm just go ahead and skip that part. So let's move on. We're going to totally skip this page. So that is all we need to do. And hopefully this will allow you to get a good start on how you are working through your specific assignment for the week. Hope this helps.